No. All right. All right. So there we go. All right. So I just finished this session. Um, and I thought this is kind of the perfect time to kind of talk about this. Um, so I can give a really solid example when I get questions like people asking me things all the time. Well, is this safe? Is past life regression safe? Is hypnosis safe? You know, um, the session I just had with a client is a really great example of that can answer your question. That will answer your question very clearly. Oh, love it. So, hey, Latori, how you doing, girl? So the session that I just finished is like I said, a really good example of how safe hypnosis and past life regression is. I think the people when people question that is because they are looking at what hypnosis has been portrayed as. Like, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to divulge all my information, I'm going to tell them all my business. I'm going to tell stuff I don't want people to know. I don't want this person to know this. I don't want people to be thinking this bad about me, and I'm not going to have any control over myself. And I'm going to tell all my business. And that is so untrue. That couldn't be farthest from the truth. And the perfect example of that is with the client I just had, right? So, and this is not to get in, I can only share so much because I'm not going to tell people business, nor do I have the desire to do so. But during her session, she clearly, when we started the session, she said she was a little anxious, but she was ready. She was ready. She was ready. Um, well, as we got into the session, I found, sometimes I have clients that come and they're like, okay, my mind is kind of all over the place. It's hard for me to like focus on it's place things are here and there. So, that's not, abnormal. And I help my clients work through. I help them with that. Help them get, you know, um, God call monkey mind out the way, the monkey brain, and I help them to get to what we need to get to. So in the session, of course, it's like all my sessions, we're looking for the cause or the issue, the cause of the origin of the issue that she needs assistance with. But at this particular time, we were we were in a past life, and as we're in a past life, she's starting to see all this, this whole thing unfold. She's like a male, um, out in some indigenous area. No, bald head, no, no hair. She's wearing pants, but no shirt, no shoes. and she just sees this blue flame of gas all around, and she's trying to figure out where is this blue flame coming from. But she said it felt healing, it felt really good. And then she tells me about how there's these people that are also there with her, and they're like standing around this fire, which is where the blue flame is coming from. So this fire, this big fire pit has this blue gas all around her, all around me. She's like, everywhere I turn, there's this blue gas, blue smoke rather, and so she said they're doing some type of ritual. There's people dancing, there's people, singing or screaming, and then she's just watching this there. She's there, this man, she's watching this, and move her along, see what happens next. And when we move her along to happens next, she's like, nothing. Nothing's happening. It's blank. And she's like, I just feel like it's so hard for me to focus. Like my mind I feel so anxious. I feel really anxious. Or I feel really anxious. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at this anxiousness. Where is this coming from? So we go to look at the anxiousness and find the origin, the source of why she's so anxious. And she sees herself on a bus. She's like, this is gonna sound really weird, but it's like I see myself like on this cheese bus. And at the same time as I'm on this cheese bus, I see myself also outside at a picnic table, sitting down, looking really pissed. So she's on this cheese bus. She's on this bus, and then, but she also sees herself, another her, outside at a picnic table, pissed, like sitting down, pissed. And so I said, okay, well, what do you use yourself? Like, tell me what's happening with this self. Well, she's sitting there, she's pissed, she's smoking a cigarette. Okay. So she says she gets off the bus, she walks over to the table to go sit next to the other self. When she sits next to the other self, I'm like, okay, well, tell me what's happening. Ask her what she's upset about. She's pissed because she said we have no business opening certain doors right now. Like, I don't need people in my business. This is the other part of her that she's sitting at the table that's pissed. That part is pissed off because it feels like she's opening doors that don't need to be opened. You know what the fuck we've been through. You know what we've been through. I don't want people in my business. This is what the other part is saying. Let's call this part the protector, right? Because ideally that is basically what was happening. How do you learn how to do this? Hey, Deja, I'll get to your question in a second. So that part of her was pissed because it felt like she was divulging, about to go into information that she had no business going into, that it was too much shit that they had been through, and that part of her just wasn't ready. Which is why she kept feeling the anxiousness, and her mind kept taking it here and there. There was two different parts of her who were not on the same page, and that protector part was like, So I was like, all right, let me talk to this protector part. Hi, protector part. Protector, we'll call you protector. Like, what's going on? What are you trying to protect? What's the issue? She straight up and down told me with an attitude, that ain't none of your business. I'm done talking to you. Next. Bye, peace, I'm out. Like, whatever you want. Like, she was done. So I go talk to the other Jasmine. It's like, what do you want to say to this? Let's talk to this part. Find out, what is she concerned about? She's concerned about opening doors that she doesn't want people in my business. And she feels like she needs to protect us. She said, nobody else ain't gonna protect us. I'm protecting us. And she tells her, hey, I really want to work on this part. Like, I would really want to work on moving forward and get some healing, but I can't do that if you don't help me. And that part was like, listen, I don't give a damn. I am not telling this person my business. I don't know you like that. I do not know you like that. I'm not telling you shit. This conversation is over. Bye. And even when I tried to talk to her, she was just like, not responding. She was like, all right, told her. I said what I said. Basically, she said what she said, and she was done. So I talked to the other part of her, and she was just like, I understand where she's coming from. So I said, well, ask her, what does she need to feel better? She just needs time. That protective part just needs time. Okay, I understand that. Ask her, how much time does she need? Because, time can be years or months or decades. People, you gotta work with the other part. What does she need? Um, so so come to find out, the time that part of her was just like, listen, just, I know I'm not gonna take time, I'm not gonna take a lot of time, because I was telling her, listen, if you take years, this is what's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna go through some shit because you're taking time when we can be working on this right now and healing this right now. Let me help you. And she was like, I don't know you like that. I need time. Just leave me alone. Give me my space. These are literal words. Leave me alone. Give me my space. I need time. I don't know you like that. I just need to clear my head and work some things out. Okay, cool. So this is what we call in hypnotherapy or clinical hypnotherapy parts therapy. Where there's two different parts of yourself who are not on the same page. And one part of her we'll call the protective part, wanted to protect her from things that occurred that she knew or she felt she wasn't ready to face. Right? So it's like, listen, I ain't got nobody else protecting me. You over here trying to do work with people I don't even know this lady. Somebody got to protect us, because you over here about to give all our business. And then there's the other part of her who's like, listen, I'm ready to heal this. What can we got to work together. And, long story short, they agreed, my client agreed with that protective part of her, that she needs time. I understand it. I'm fine with that. Okay, cool. That's all I need to hear. I just need to see you guys come to an agreement to figure out what y'all going to do. The protective part said, don't worry, it won't be long. I won't take time. I will let you know when I'm ready. My client said, okay, cool. I understand. I respect that. Let's do that, because we have been through some shit. And so, after the session, I talked to my client and I'm like, you got to talk to that part, like that part. This is not a part. This is not like a spirit attachment, right? You have different parts of you. They're all, and there's so many of them that I can't even tell you how many parts. There's innumerable different parts. But there was a part of her that felt it needed protection. And when you have those parts that are not in sync with who you are or what you're trying to work towards, you have to work with that part to see what it needs. What do you need to feel better? What do you need? It will tell you. Just like that part told me, I need time and space. Get out of my face. It will tell you. And you have to work with that part, make them feel safe, make them feel heard, make them feel understood, so that the next time when you try and do work, you guys are working together, rather than one person's over here and the other person's over here and you're both playing tug of war now. You don't get nowhere like that. And so I tell that whole story to give you an example of, you are in complete control. There's parts of you that are protecting you. You don't divulge any information you don't want to divulge. You don't have to share any information you don't want to share. So when people talk about, is hypnosis safe? Is past life regression safe? Am I going to get stuck in hypnosis? Am I going to get this? And they're like, listen, you are in complete control, right? If you want to go into hypnosis, you can. If you don't, ain't nobody going to make you. Nobody can make you go into hypnosis if you don't want to. Okay, let's be clear on that. Nobody. I have to be clear on that. And so, yeah, there's different parts of you that will protect you, that if it feels like I don't want to share that, it's not going to share it. And if there's parts of you that's like, so like you can literally withhold information. You can decide not to share. And if you do that, then you do that. I wouldn't know, because I don't know your life. I can only go by what you tell me. And that's why it's important to have all parts of you on the same page, working towards the same goal. Because one might say, I ain't telling her that shit, just make up something and say something else, because I'm not saying that. Or one part might be like, I feel embarrassed about that. I don't want to share that. But not understanding that the more you share, if something comes up, that means it's ready to be worked on. That means it needs to be healed. You're not gonna, anything that you feel whole about and complete about inside, isn't going to come up unless there's something tied to it, that's significance to it. If you have some type of trauma or anger or any emotion or anything that has to do with something that's causing you to not be who you want to be, your best self, it is going to come up, it's going to surface, and you're going to have to deal with it. Whether you deal with it later or you decide to deal with it now, you got to deal with it. So making sure that, all those parts of you are on the same page is very important. And that was a really great example of that session that I just had. And, my clients, she said, well, I feel like I didn't really get anything done. I'm like, no, don't. I understand how you feel that way, because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to see my past life. I want to know who I was. I want to know this, and I want to know that, and I want to heal this. It was like, yeah, I can understand, because you had a certain expectation, but I always say the best way to approach a session is with no expectation. Allow it to be what it needs to be, because it will unfold as it needs to be. You will get exactly what you need. And that is exactly what you need to know. So just because you feel like you didn't get anywhere doesn't mean that you didn't. Now, because look at this. Now she understands and knows that there's a part of her that needs help, that's crying out for help, that needs that protection, that feels like I'm not safe. She has to help this part before she can move. She got so much that she needs to deal with in this life, that part is like, I don't even want to look at the other shit right now. We got to deal with the shit that we don't went through in this life. And it would not allow her to continue and finish, seeing what happened in that life. But it was so strong within her that it literally needed that help. Like, so she didn't walk away empty-handed. She got what she needed, exactly what she needed, because now she knows that's that part of her that needs that help. And I exhorted her. I told her, listen, talk to that part. You need to. This is where your shadow work comes in. Talk to that part. Whether you need to journal with her, find out what she needs, what her concerns are, what is it that she's afraid of, what does she feel she needs protection from, what are the issues that she's still holding on to. Talk to her. Find out what help she needs. Dialogue with her, whether it be journaling, doing, there's like mirror work where you can look in the mirror and you just, hey, it's just me and you now. She's not here, ain't nobody else here. It's me and you now. Let's talk. What do you need? Tell me what you need. What do you need to feel better? What do you need to feel protected and seen and heard and understood? What do you need? So then that way you can help her see that you're working with her, that your intentions are the same, that you want to assist her in feeling better, that you want to protect you as well. So that when you guys both come together on the same page next time, because she's like, I'll be back. Just I'll give her some time to let her, and I'll work with her and see what she needs. But when you come through this again, then you can really get shit done, like really, really work on your issues. And so that was a really great example I had to share about that, that you are protected at all times. You will protect yourself. There's nothing, you're under nobody's control when you're in hypnosis. You're under your control. You can only go into hypnosis if you want to. You only share information that you want to share. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me get to these questions. How do you learn how to do this? What are you referring to, Deja? Monica, honestly, we can learn a lot from past lives, from others' personal experience, rather than reading books from history. LOL, past life regression, be spilling the real tea. It does, because even when I'm in my sessions, I learn so much. From my client session. There's a lot, and a lot of times there's a lot of synchronicities. And I'm like, I went through this shit before, so I know what she's going through. So I know how to help her, or I know how to do, like, even with the session today, like there's times I've done parts therapy before. There were parts of me that didn't feel protected and needed courage and needed help. And a lot of times it's coming from that part of you is like a certain age. Sometimes they're stuck in childhood at 4 or 5 years old, right? And other times they're a little bit older. Maybe they're in their teens or their early 20s. It just depends. But they're still living in a certain time period where they didn't feel, for example, protected, and they need to protect themselves. And so, that you learn a lot. And I share with her that I went through something very similar. I've done that work with parts therapy. And on the other side of when you guys are come together and you agree and you work together, oh my God, that shit feels so good. It feels so good. I can't even begin to explain it to you. It's something you have to experience. what is Deja gives you a whole different way of looking at life and death. Yes, most definitely. Shonda, I feel like this is a sign that I caught your live. Sign for what, Chica? Monica, I can't wait to try one with you. Okay, I'm here when you're ready, girl. I'm here. Deja, you should write a book kind of like Dolores Cannon. I'm not there yet. Give me some time. Give me some time. We got a lot of things going on right now. Monica, agree on that. Define definitely would help others in healing aspects of ourselves, right? Yeah, y'all gotta give me some time with that book. Everybody keeps telling me that. Um, how to how to do past life regressions. Oh, well, that's training that you can do. It's definitely it's not like I did a lot of training because there was a lot that was coming up that I felt I needed to be able to adjust and be flexible with to help my clients. Like, for example, with the session today. Um, if you were just might have gotten one particular type of training, you would have been like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? This person's saying that, their mind is going elsewhere. They might not have had or known, okay, well, let me focus on that issue that keeps coming up for them, this anxiety. Let's look at that and know how to look at it and how to help them in that aspect. So there's a lot of training that goes in. Sometimes when you go into past life regressions, I'm gonna be 100, say like that, 100 with you. Okay, when you go into a lot of time past life in my sessions, we do a lot of work with the current life. Like there's a lot of childhood healing, a lot of inner child healing that comes up that we get to before we even go to a past life. Sometimes it's rare, but sometimes there's clients where they come in for a session, they want the past life, but it's like we don't even get there because their guides or whoever else is like, she don't need. Listen, we got another shit to work here in this life that we got to deal with. We can do all that stuff later, but she need to handle this first, and they will tell you straight up, handle this right now. We didn't share that because we didn't bring her here for that today. We needed you to help her with something else. And so there's a lot of things that we do outside, at least that I do in my sessions. It's very comprehensive where I like to, because I know it's a lot of shit that not just everything doesn't stem from a past life. A lot of shit that we deal with nowadays too is from our childhood trauma and things that we've had and emotions we've been holding on to because of situations that happen in our life, our current life, that we haven't addressed. That shit comes up and that we work through it. That's why a lot of times you hear about my session was like 4 or 5 hours. That's because we past life shit and working on shit that's in this life, dealing trauma from childhood, etc. It was one of those type of sessions. That's why I'm like, listen, if it comes up, that's why I'm like, listen, I'm not going to set a time limit. Usually my sessions are 2-3 hours, right? For us to go through and get all the information we need. But if other shit comes up, I'm not going to rush you through the session. Like, okay, hurry up. The time is coming up. We need to finish. Or let's finish. No, we're not doing that. We're going to do what we need to do. So if it takes longer than 3 hours, longer than 2 hours, and it takes 4 or 5 hours, let's do it. Because that's what I'm here to help for. That's part of my purpose. That's what I was sent here to do. This is, I know what I signed up for. And I'm prepared for it. I'm just blessed to do it. But know that a lot of times when you go into these sessions with me, your shit from this life just may come up too. And we're going to work through that as well. So, yeah. Let's see, I'm sorry. But to answer your questions, yeah, I don't do training. Everybody keeps asking me if I train to do past life regressions. I'm not doing that. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Who knows? But now I'm not doing that, no. Lloyd, hi from France. Hey, Lloyd. Shonda, how long does it take to put someone under hypnosis? Well, there's multiple ways to do it. So it just depends on how I decide to do it. My remote sessions, I tend to do a few different techniques. It can take anywhere from remote sessions 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what I decide to use. 20 minutes one is usually when I want to take them a bit deeper. So yeah. Deja, I want to learn it. You're amazing. I want to book a session soon, whenever may come, shall. Okay, Chica, I'm here when you're ready, Deja. The best way to know if you're really built for it, I say built for it, if you really to get a handle on, this is something I want to do, is for you to kind of experience it and understand how it works. I'm not say how it works, because everybody's session is different, but it's all, I just found it helpful when you have a session for yourself. I have a lot of clients I've had sessions with, and they're like, yo, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, let me get you the information. So I can definitely send you some recommendations of where you can train if you're interested in that as well. um, Monica, especially when we are in the year of trying to heal any trauma, our ancestors and guides have no time to waste time but to heal. Listen, you ain't heard half of it. They not playing. They ain't playing with y'all. They ain't playing with y'all. They're not. They're like, listen, this is what we need to do. It's what we here for. Let's stop playing around. Um, Shonda, oh, I was thinking it takes much longer. No, no, that's it. That's for a remote session. You can do instantaneous inductions that are like 5 minutes or less. Yeah, just depends though. But you kind of have to be like in person for those things. Um, Deja, I found you through Priestess Onset. Ah, yes, that's my girl. Love her. Um, my pleasure. Yeah. So yeah, it is um, definitely a journey. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen, like at this time, and you definitely see the vibration of things changing now. I've seen that for years, the vibration of things changing, people who are becoming more aware of their spiritual, their true spiritual selves, and how things are manifesting, how things around them are changing for them, how things are unfolding. And every day things are getting even more, like even now for me, it's a lot of things happening for me spiritually that I'm grateful for. Um, but yeah, they're taking me on a journey. They are taking me on a journey, and opening up to gifts that I didn't even realize I had. And I'm just like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do with this? And so I'm aware that it is uh, a step-by-step process that does take time, that you have to show that you're ready for the next step. You have to show that you are working towards um, um, understanding and truly um, healing certain parts of you to be able to work with other gifts. And so, yeah, I'm all excited about that and opening up to that. But anywho, yeah, I just want to jump on here and share that with y'all, that experience. And oh, okay, yeah, share that experience. And yeah, so I'll give y'all maybe another let's take 10 minutes, and I can answer any other questions you might have. Monica, are you able to remove cords from individuals or past lives that we may still be attached to without no conscious while doing these regressions? Yeah, you can definitely remove cords. Yep, as long as you know. Sometimes I have guides cut them damn cords. Like, this shit needs to go. They will cut it with the quickness. Like, she needs to let that shit go. She needs to remove that. So yeah, we do that as well in the sessions. Teresa, I stumbled on your channel weeks ago. Your energy is so pure. I have been binge watched you. I'm currently studying this modality and the layers that are opening and saying, I love your channel. Thank you, love. Girl, we need the help. Come on in. We need the help. I can't do everybody myself. I can't do this shit. We need to let everybody do. Like, I was having a talk with a friend the other day, and it was like, yo, I cannot wait for this modality to be more mainstream, for people to be more open to this, because this shit is amazing. I was like, yeah, it's coming. it just takes time. There's a lot of reprogramming a lot of people have to do about when it comes to like, hypnosis, and even just like the idea of past lives. Like there's some people it's like, you believe in that shit? I don't know that. And I was just like, listen, even with my clients, I asked them, I'm like, listen, and this is just in case, because there's always that part of you later after the session that comes back like, was I making that shit up? And I always say, listen, if you had to make up a past life, would it have been that one? And the answer is always, oh, hell no. I would have made that shit up. It would have been something. It would have been something much more glorious. Like I would have been, this big important person with this. Like it would have been all positive, all gravy, all like all these. You get the picture I'm talking about. They're like, nah, I would have made that shit up. No way in hell. No. So there's a lot of, when people who experience it, they know. They was like, you can't tell me that shit wasn't real. That was like, I wasn't faking that crying. That shit was emotional. That I was in that shit. Like, you can't tell me that wasn't real. Like, just like even my past lives. Can't nobody tell me that shit wasn't real. You can't tell me. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me that wasn't real. So, yeah, everybody has their own path though. So for those who don't believe in it, maybe hopefully another modality that they might need to help them with whatever issues they have, whatever works for them. That's what's most important. It's not about trying to convince people or pull somebody over to the side and say, hey, you need to try. Like, no, I ain't with all of that. Let them go where they need. Their guide's gonna take them where they need to go. To the person that might be the right person for them. And yeah, and that's that. So I see Monica, right. Teresa, LOL, I regret not going towards QHHT, but thinking of switching. Well, I don't do QHHT, my dear. So yeah, I don't do QHHT. Yeah, so I couldn't even tell you. I can tell you though, a lot of the people who have done QHHT were in my training and some of my trainings that I did as well. So I know the QHHT is definitely different from what I do and how I do my sessions. But I don't know enough about it in terms of the work that they do. I haven't done that type of hypnotherapy to be able to tell you a clear difference, but definitely not different. Definitely not the same. Can you explain when you change and speak to the other person in the room to get answers that the client can't answer? What is going? Wait, let me read that again. Can you explain when you change and speak to the other person in the room to get answers that the client can't answer? What is going on for that person? Are they daydreaming? I hope that makes sense. So if you mean like switching from, or what we call, or some people call, role play, or talking to the other like person that is in that life, like the other characters in that life. If I understand that's what you're talking about. That's my understanding of what you mean. So what's going on with them? All right. So when they switch over, let's say if I'm like, okay, you in a room with your mom. Okay. All right. So if you're in a room with your mom, all right, let me speak with her. I'm on my account from 3 to 1. Let me speak directly to that person. When they switch over and speak to that person, they become that person. They become that person. They no longer feel like they are that person, that other person that they were just a second ago. They literally, and they become that person with their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, personality. You feel it completely different. You feel completely, that this is not this person anymore. This is now this person. So it's a complete change of personality, energy. It's like, where you can tell you're talking to somebody who's nice and sweet versus somebody who's rude as fuck and they got a completely different energy. It's like that. You feel a different energy. You feel a different personality, a different knowing, like even the speech and the words that they use. For example, I was having a session with a client yesterday, and one of her ancestors came through and was answering some questions for her. And keep in mind, she's in her early 20s. And I was I forget. I was asking them a question or something, and she said, and the ancestor, who's a older male, said, who she'd never met before, by the way, says, "Yeah, well, I reckon." The word reckon, and when it said the reckon, I said, I laughed a bit because that's how older folk, especially from where she's from down south. I'm from down south. That's how my family they speak all the time. They would use words like I reckon, and and that shows you again that person. They're that person. They speak in whatever language that they speak. I even had clients who had, let's say, for example, a grandmother who was Hispanic and she spoke English, and the other person, the grandmother didn't know any English, perhaps. She came over and she just literally started speaking Spanish. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. I don't know Spanish. Can you just say it in English for me, please? And the client will literally just have to say what they're saying, what she hears them saying in English. And so you get a whole, like, even sometimes the accent will change a lot of times, especially if it's a different type of culture. So yeah, it's that person. They are that person. They are that person, and they're feeling it, and that's why everything about them changes. The energy, the tone, the voice. Sometimes, yeah, they're that person. That's what's going on. um, Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I noticed their words really changed to the other person. Yeah, yeah, they're that person. Um, Even in one of the past lives that I had, I remember speaking in a certain way, and I was like, I would never say that word. But myself in that life, who was a man, I said it, and that was the word that I used. But and there was another word that I say now that I was like, oh, that's where I get that from. And he said folk a lot. He said these folk. He used the word folk a lot in that life. And I was like, oh, that's why we saying folk like that. Oh, y'all folks. Da, 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 da. It's that part of me that's still like, yeah. So you get that too sometimes. Yeah. Any other questions, y'all? I got, 5 minutes up. Any other questions? Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, some deep stuff. Oh, and I haven't forgot, y'all. I'm sorry. You know what? I might just work on that. Lord. I know I've been saying I'm going to share one of my past lives that I had, but again, it needs to be. It's it was taking and it's taking so long because I've been stopping and pausing, going back and forth and working on it because I've been busy with everything else. But I literally have to do like subtitles for it because the audio is so low. I was very far away from the laptop when I was recording it, and I had a mask over my mouth, so it was hard to hear. So I have to literally, I remember everything, so I have to go back and just put subtitles on what was happening at that moment. I'm literally going bit by bit, and it was like a 2 hour, 3 hour session, so it's taking time. So I'm gonna see if I can work on that today because I really want to get that over to you guys. I haven't forgot about it, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely share one of my past lives with you as well. That's amazing. Yeah, so I thank you. Okay, no problem, Monica. I'll be booking ASAP. Okay, Shonda, see you soon, girl. I don't think I have anything until July though. Every to June is completely booked. I mean, June. Yeah, shit. Forgot what month we was in. I don't have anything until July. There are other dates that'll be coming in July, but right now I think it's like the last 2 weeks of July that I have available. I don't have anything available earlier than that at this moment. Um, I was about to ask, did you have a personal session which really opened you up to this work? Listen, I didn't even have a session until after I started doing this work. How about that? I didn't even have a session until after I started this work because I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing. It like this, my guides led me to this work. So it wasn't a matter of, okay, I had a session. I was like, oh, I want to do this too. It was like, no, my guides led me to this work. And I didn't have a session until after I started doing this work. Yeah. Yeah. So, But it is life changing. It is life changing. I've been doing this work, and I was telling somebody I've been doing this work, okay, my whole fucking life and didn't even realize it. That's the thing. That's a whole other story. I can't go into that. But every part of my life since birth, even before birth, I've been living this work, eating, sleeping, drinking, this work, and I didn't even know it. I had no idea. Every part of my life, and it's amazing. I get goosebumps when I think about it now. Every time I think about it, I get goosebumps. I had a few experiences with guided meditations that really pushed me into it. Yeah, but this is different from meditation. Some people they ask, is this like meditation? Like, yeah, the only difference that this work in terms of that has, and you know, um, or should I say, the only thing similar that has in common with meditation is that you start off and relax, but sometimes it's you don't have to be relaxed in a relaxed state to go into hypnosis and to get information you need. A lot of my clients they're experiencing certain symptoms that you don't need to be relaxed from, that you want them to feel so that we can get to it. So yeah, it's not even it's meditation. Meditation is it's different from hypnosis. In hypnosis we use relaxation um, to help you in some ways to get to a certain point, but after that, that's just that's where it ends. That's where it ends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. Give y'all 2 more minutes, and then I gotta go. Any other questions? Would it be hard to read people once that got the jab? Like, would it be hard to read people once they got the jab? Been hearing it blocks out your connection with your source. Um, Only time will tell. Can't say I've gotten anyone that I know of that's done that I've had that issue or anything like that. Only time will tell. You know, only time will tell. I heard the same thing Monica wrote and telling us. Yeah, I've heard that it does block out your connection to source. So I don't. Only time will tell. Do you go into the Akashic record? All right, Deja. See you later. Teresa, do you go into the Akashic record in your sessions? Yeah, we can. I don't do it often, but you can go into the Akashic record. Yeah. And that's what you say the Akashic review, and you're speaking more so like just focusing on the Akashic records. I mean, a lot of times you can get the information from your guides or your higher self, so you don't necessarily need, but they will go into the Akashic records and get the information from you. Yeah. But yeah, we go into it sometimes, but I don't spend a lot of time in Akashic records. It's because we're doing work. So if we need to go into the Akashic records and get specific information to help with what we're doing, then I'll get that. Yeah. Big issue. Gotcha. Have a good weekend. All right, Shonda. Thank you. All right. All right. So y'all, I'm gonna go. I gotta go get something to eat. um, yeah, I gotta go feed myself, and yeah, we'll talk again later. I'll try to do more of these lives, and actually, I gotta go. I will try and slide in some work in on that my past life regression video, so that I can show y'all and share that with y'all as well. All right, we will talk again later, y'all. Love y'all. Y'all have any questions, comments, concerns? Feel free to reach out via email, etc., whatever. But yeah. Okay, I'm going, y'all. I gotta go. Love y'all. No problem, Cheryl. You're welcome. My pleasure, Monica. You're welcome, Teresa. Peace.